Hey guys, and welcome back to another replay analysis on the channel. We're going to go straight into this one. This guy is a 1900 play. I think he says that this is a 1900 scrim at least. He might not be at that rank. I think he says somewhere between 18 to 1900, but the other players in this lobby might be around that level. So, you know, around that rank. So actually quite a high level scrim, which, you know, is a good one for you guys to watch to see what these high level players are doing, or even yourselves, what you guys could be doing to get to this level. So we start off, you know, we can see this guy's moving quite quickly around the pitch. I'm not sure what his teammate is doing. So this needs to be communicated either by both of them, really. They need to know where each other are and where they're going, what they're doing. Because if this guy's in this position and he wants you to push in, then that's your play. You need to push in front of him and cut rotation, kind of. And that would be the better play here. So yeah, you can't really just kind of go behind your teammate, especially when he's not there. But I would say that's your teammate's fault. I'm not sure what he's doing in that corner. It's just it needs to be communicated to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen. You start dribbling Vikes on the top of your car, which is a bit of an interesting play, you know. Nice patience there. Good effort on the pinch around him. This is good. You're not really rushing into the corner. You understand that there's no threat on this ball, so you don't need to be going really quick. You just take a small touch around him. I think what I would have liked to see, though, is you actually trying to grab this boost from him, because we always want to be trying to grab the boost from our opponents. When the ball isn't in a dangerous position, you know, like there's no other players that are coming to shoot this on target any seconds. You can just grab that boost from Misty and make him a bit awkward, force him to have to go all the way back, and that will mean that there's one less player that you have to worry about in the next 5 seconds or 10 seconds, you know. So that would have been a good play for you to go for, but I don't mind the touch around him. It's also good. I like the pinch. I think if you're going to pinch this, you always want to be getting on the opposite side of the ball than of the direction you're trying to pinch it to. You know, it's like when you hit a ball, you're trying to pinch it forward, so you get on the opposite side. I explained that really bad. Basically, instead of like hitting it here, you want to be hitting it on this side of the ball behind it, and that'll make it go that way. You arrow the other way round, and that means that you're not going to get that good of a pinch. So it doesn't really go anywhere, but I like the idea, just the execution's a little bit off. Good boost grab, nice position. You should turn mid here. Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. Ignore me. Good avoidance of the bump. So your teammate cuts in here, which is fine. Kind of, yeah. So ideally, I think if this guy doesn't go for the ball, but he just stays here and waits for the guy on the ball to pass it mid, if he does pass it mid, then he's going to be here to intercept. That's the best play, and he'll let you push forward. Because he's coming at the ball at a really weird angle, it's very easy for this guy just to force the 50 around him like he does, and now it's in an awkward, even more of an awkward position, and one of your teammates has taken himself out of the play. So you haven't really done anything wrong here, but ideally your teammate doesn't go for that ball like that. Good patience. This 50, you did a good job of waiting here. I think you actually, I say good patience. I think you can, I think it's actually, ignore me, I think it's a wrong play, because the reason being is you've just seen one player be taken out on the other team. So one of their players is in your net. You know that right now because you've just seen them. So there's only 2 people back. So you could just try and start pushing this ball forward and catch them out on a counter attack. But because you slow it down, you give the player that just went for the ball, who's just coming to screen butter, you give them time to come back, and that means that they can reposition and get boost. So I would just try and hit this forward, grab the mid boost. If that guy grabs the mid boost, then you'll still have loads of momentum going forward. You might be supersonic if you boost and flip into this ball, or you definitely will be. So you'll be able to go forward, maybe grab their other boost, go for a demo, go for a block, whatever. Just try and get this ball forward, especially when you see one of your opponents been taken out of the play. This 50, it was going well until you flipped really early. And because you flipped really early, you didn't really cover the majority of the ball. You only covered a little bit of the ball here if we look at it again. When you take a 50, you always want to be covering most of the ball. That's how you win 50s. But if we look on contact, you only cover, like, you know, just a small part of the ball, whereas this guy's covering a decent amount. He's not even covering that much and he still wins the 50. Which should show you, you know, how little of the ball you're covering there. So try and make sure you cover more of the ball on your 50 there. I think this flip is quite unnecessary because it means that you have committed yourself in a certain direction, a certain path, which you can't change anymore. Once you flip, you can't change direction whilst you're midair, right? So instead of flipping here, try and relax a little bit and just drive around the pitch, because you should have ball cam on here, ideally. You should quit or at least flick a ball cam on and off to see what the plays, what's happening. You're not really needed in defense right now, in my opinion. Like, you can't really make a play on the ball, so don't try and rush back, you know, too soon, because that's when that's why bad positions happen, either getting back too late or getting back too soon, or just positioning badly, you know. But like, those two things are what causes bad positioning sometimes. So I would not flip back because you get back a little bit too soon. And if you don't flip here, you could also just path along this direction. So maybe go for this pad. I don't think that's the right play. I think you go here, here, potentially here, and you go behind Mark. So you'd be about here. You'd be here now. So you'd be facing that direction instead of this direction, which is way more effective because you're facing the play. Yeah, and now you don't have to try and get these boost pads. You'd already be on about 40 boost instead of 35. That being said, it's not the end of the world that you did it. It's just that if we want to be pushing into these higher ranks and making less mistakes over time, it's what we need to start thinking about. I think this hit could be a lot better. You should probably either do one of two things. If you're going to jump for this ball as early as you did, then make sure to try and hit it to a teammate, or hit it into space where the opponent can't get there before one of your teammates or yourself can. Ideally, I think you just don't jump for this ball, because there's no... Actually, no, you definitely jump for this ball. Yeah, I'm stupid, because you've just seen the player behind you, so he could be going up for this ball and go for a redirect. So you want to be jump for this ball. You did a good job. But I think the hit is just a little bit to the side, and it bounces quite nicely for the other team. It bounces mid and they can get a free ball in the air. Luckily they hand it back. You're going too fast here. You're going way too fast, because a dunk could happen right now, and because you've just flipped before even seeing if the dunk has happened or not, you can't really make a play on the ball if the dunk does happen. Like, you start jumping here, you have no idea if So gets a dunk on this guy or not. So this is definitely a misplay. You're also on low boost. You don't want to be going too fast because you're trying to get boost right now. I know you're going for the back boost, but that means you cut your teammate off. You try and cut like in front of him or behind him just to get that boost. And the player lands there and he gets your boost anyway. He gets that mid boost, and now you're stuck in midfield with about 40. Again, not the biggest issue because you get up to the ball still and you're in a decent position. Nice. But could be better. I think if you just don't flip here. So this is fine. Don't flip here. Don't even use boost. Just literally, like, this pad, maybe this, it depends what this guy does. If he's sitting back, then you can cut in front of him. This pad, this pad, this pad. And you'll be here now. And then you'd be able to support your teammate underneath him. You'd be on 60 boost, I think, right now. You'd be able to get this pad maybe, and you'd be second man. Your teammate would be around here. I think that's the best play. But instead, you're on here with 4 boost. So you see the difference, you know, just that little flip, that little dodge, instead of just playing off the pads. Going for the big boost is sometimes really bad. Nice mechanics, really good recovery there. Don't flip here because you're already going supersonic. And it's very small details, but you're a high level player, so we want to be looking at the small things. I'm guilty of doing this, by the way. So, like, I do this all the time. I need to, not all the time, but like, I see myself doing this. We flip when we're going supersonic. I have no idea why, because we're already going the fastest that we can be going. So there's no point flipping there. Again, not the biggest issue, you know, we're not going to concede from it. But let's say we do that in an important situation where the ball's about to come to us and we're supersonic, but we flip. We've just wasted a position, you know. Nice touch here. This is good, because even if that guy dunks you, you have 2 teammates behind you who's just going to get a free ball from this. You get a good 50 because you go low. You need to be careful of this, because this guy's coming for a dunk. You've not really got anyone covering the net, and even if you did, it could just pinch like top corner like in this position, because you could get dunked really hard when you're first to the ball and you're hitting an angle into the midfield. It's very easy to get dunked. So careful of this, because you do get dunked I don't think the ball goes into that awkward position, but if this happens, if you know that there's not a 100% chance that you get the ball past your opponent, and you should know it here, it's looking like, yeah, you might get it past him, I'd say 30% of the time, even 20%, 80% of the time, this guy's going to get a block on you in this position, because the ball's going towards him, and he's going into the ball, you know, so he's going to have an easier time getting to the ball. So you got to be careful of this. I'd go for a 50 instead of trying to beat him here. The way you do that is great 50 here, slow down here, don't flip here, just drive alongside the ball and then flip into it through the ball rather than, you know, through it that way. You want to be going through it that way, and you get a really solid block. Anyway, you get dunked, so like I said, the ball goes into not that of an awkward position, but it could be a lot worse in other circumstances. This is fine. I don't know why you're flipping here, because there's nothing to be flipping for. Yeah, you might want that boost pad in front of you, but you're taking yourself out of the play just for one boost pad when you can turn back and get 5 more, you know. You also use boost through the flip, so you're just using 12 boost to get 12 boosts and put yourself further out of the play. So careful of that. Don't flip here because you're already supersonic, like we said. So the big thing I noticed is you need to play off pads more. Focus on those small pads, because you'd be, let's say you're 13 here, you'd be on 25 here. You play along this pad 37, this pad 49, this pad 61, this pad 73. So you'd be here now with 73 boost rather than being here with 33. So, you know, you'd be in the same position but with 40 more boost. Good save. Sorry, I was looking at my phone. Yeah, I mean, this is an awkward position. I don't really want to comment on it too much because, like I said, it's quite an awkward position. You're on low boost. Good play there. I'd be careful of this. Just ever so slightly careful, because you need to pay attention more to the play before you make a decision. I know that sounds stupid because we always want to be making decisions in advance, of course, but from this angle, Misty, the blue player that's about to hit the ball, he could get a touch over your teammate, and because you flip towards this mid boost, that means you leave your teammate Mark back in a 1v1, and you can't get back to help him. So careful of that. Luckily, the guy gets past Misty anyway, and we're good. Your teammate's pushed up slightly too far here. We get caught out on a counter. I think you also push up like into a bit of an awkward position. If you do this, go behind your teammate or just stay along like this line that you're in. Don't go any more forward because you're not going to be doing anything here. You're kind of just useless there. You're not really putting yourself into a good position to make a play. So careful of that. Your teammate pushes forward, probably thinks you might be behind him or supporting him at least. What was that? You got like a wave dash on that. That was strange. Careful of flipping here. You land and then you try and turn straight away and flip. You gotta be careful because you gotta realize, because of this flip, you put yourself out of reach for this pad here next to you. You can no longer get this. Well, it's very difficult if you want to turn, and you know it's gonna be awkward. So careful of that. Sorry, I again like messages that I need to look at real quick. Let me go back. Okay, never mind, that's fine. Never mind. Alright, so yeah, this flip here is definitely a little bit excessive. You don't need to be flipping. You're not really gaining much speed because you're just the way you're moving, you're changing angles and flipping at the same time. You're not gaining that much speed. If you flip in a straight line, that's when you gain speed. So you should be just driving and getting that pad next to you. So you get this pad, maybe flip through this pad. You always want to be flipping through the pads to put you in a good position for the next pad. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you don't really do that here. You flip through this pad into this position where there's no pads anywhere near you, you know. So careful of that. I think just flipping in general for you is something that you want to be working on. I have no idea how this has worked, I'm not going to lie. It looks sick, but it shouldn't have worked. It's because Misty did get a horrible touch to the side. If he just hits that clean, you take yourself out of the play. Unfortunately, I don't like that play. You know, it looks cool. I admit it. Great play, but wouldn't be making it in. You know, wouldn't be doing it consistently. Nice wall dashes. You do this way faster than I can. This is fine. Some people are going to say, oh, bad rotation, but I don't mind that. See what happens. Maybe it is bad. I'm not sure, because I feel like I'd do this as well. So maybe I'm just bad as well. I'm not sure. I think perhaps you could go through midfield and support behind your teammate, but I think it's also okay to do this. I think the issue is that you don't cover backboard here, yeah. Here, just slow down. You're going very fast for how slow the ball's moving. And if you cover backboard here, you cover a lot of options, because you can just quickly go down onto the floor and cover the floor, and you can also go onto the backboard and cover the backboard, whereas you can't cover both the floor and backboard on the ground, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense to you, but like here, holding this position, angling your car slightly more upwards here, this is good. If you're on the backboard right here, this is a solid position to be in. Just chilling here, and the ball comes here, you turn or go up for it, whatever you want to do. Whereas because you go on the ground, you can't make it awkward to block any high touches like this, so you can't really get to that. So I think that's a misplay. Perhaps the rotation could be better, maybe going through the midfield instead, but like I said, I think I'd do what you did. Maybe just cover the backboard. This cheat, I'm not sure if you're in a team, you are, so this is a scrim, of course you are. Perhaps it's good if you try and force it that way. I'm not going to comment on it too much because it could be a good kickoff of that. Don't really try to do that too much. Sometimes I do. Oh, that's unlucky. Get bumped by your teammate. This is fine from you. I think you just want to chill out on the flipping, because you are pushing yourself too quickly into play sometimes. Like, you're now a little bit too far forward, in my opinion. Just ever so slightly. Yeah. And now you're going to be in that position and get beat to the ball because you don't have forward momentum. So careful on the flipping, definitely. Like that. It's just not useful. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really do much. You'll find yourself feel a lot more controlled if you stop flipping. Yeah. Don't think that flip was too much of an issue. Alright, you should cover backboards here. Good. Hard to clear out. Well done. Great mechanics on that clear as well. Nice recovery off your teammate's bump. I like that block. Good boost still. I think you can go for a demo here. Because when the ball is in front of you and your opponents are looking at the ball and you're behind them, they will never look for a demo. They'll never look out for a demo. Even at pro level. I just always, in this position, I'm just like, oh, that's a free demo on this guy. Because he's always focused on this ball. He's just not going to be paying attention at all to you. So this is a great opportunity for you to be disrupted and get demos. Because the ball really isn't going to come mid to you because the ball's going quite slow. It's a tough angle for your teammate. So unless he's really calling this to pass mid, which I don't think he does with that touch, you go for a demo and you make it really awkward for them. That hit is... I'd say it's risky because your teammate's just gone for the ball. So if you pass this, you're passing this to your third man. Now, if your third man gets beat, then you concede. So careful of that. Luckily, we have our opponent miss, so it's fine. You should grab the boost here. Nice. You should... yeah, this is good. You're holding a good position. Yeah, relax him, maybe. I always think it's... I think, no, you just relax, perhaps, because you don't want to push into the same position as your teammate. I don't know, I don't like your teammates play either, so it's difficult for me to say what you should do there. But just be careful of pushing into your teammate's space. Same again. Just trust your teammate a little bit here. No point flipping there. Our opponents bump each other nice. Good look for a demo like that. That's fine. Yeah, we just hesitate a little bit. You see that the little wiggle we did, just a little bit of hesitance there. It's not the end of the world. I think the main thing I'm noticing right now is like the flipping, the boost management. The boost management can definitely improve. You know, our pathing through the pads in the midfield can improve. Like going into a position like this, you see what we're always doing. We're always looking for the big boosts, even if they're not up yet. They're not even spawned. We're just hoping that it lands, it spawns on us as we go through it, just like that. And now we get back. There's no point flipping there, by the way, because obviously we're going supersonic. Now we get back with 12 boost. Whereas if we just go through midfield here, we had 19 boosts there. So if we use about 10 boosts, we'd be on about, let's say 10. You'd be here 22, 34, 46, 58. And you'd be here, maybe even pick up this pad 70. You'd be here now. Maybe slightly later. Maybe now. So you'd get there, you wouldn't have time to get this pad. So you'd be on 58 boost rather than 6. And again, like a lot of players that I keep saying, it doesn't matter because we pick up the 100 boost. But let's say that 100 boost got stolen. Let's say, you know, there's a player on this wall who's now going to intercept this ball and you can't go up for this again. You'd be back with 50 boost as opposed to being back with 0. So you see what I mean? It'd be a lot better for you. So always keep looking out for those pads. I think this is fine. This is good. Alright, careful of that. You want to go up for this ball. You need to go up for this ball. Because you should have seen that there's a guy here in mid. Look how slow Soso's driving. That means he's going to turn mid. He's supporting his teammate here. He's looking for a pass. So you've got to realise that there's a player that's probably going to go for this ball. If this player makes any contact with this ball, it's a goal. So careful of that. Good hit into space. Yeah, nice. You curve around the ball to get a good angle on it. I like that hit. Try and put it behind them. No point flipping there. No point flipping here either because you're already going supersonic. Okay, so definitely one thing you should work on as well is making sure you don't jump for a ball until your car is perfectly in line with it. That's one thing I used to have such a huge issue with. Even when I joined Dig, you know, I know it sounds stupid. Even when I was a pro, when I joined a top 8 team, I had this like huge issue, and I corrected it with Verge, our coach at the time, and Panda, and it helped me it helped me so much. So just careful of this. You're jumping up at quite an awkward angle, so you have to recover. You don't get a solid hit, and now you have to use more boost to recover and correct your car and correct your car's momentum and all that. So careful of that. You don't want to flip away from this play because you can't get back to net before a shot's about to happen. Your job here is to cover Misty's touch into the midfield because Mark is covering the net, your teammate is covering the net, he's covering for the shot. So your job is to make sure you help him out in any way possible, which the best way or the only way you can help out is by covering the player who's about to receive a pass in mid. Because you flip away from the play, you're not really doing that, so they get a free pass. And he probably wouldn't have made it there anyway. So again, it doesn't matter in this play. But if Misty's touch was slightly slower, or if he didn't have that much boost and his touch was slower in the end, or Butter couldn't get there in time, you'd be there to clear it out, rather than leaving your teammate back and concede him. Like I said, I don't think you would have made it back in time, so again, for this play, it doesn't really matter. But what would have mattered is if you practiced, jumping up for the ball in a straight line perfectly in line with the ball, then you wouldn't have made this missed touch here to the ball, and they wouldn't have had a free hit downfield. So that's the thing that caused the goal, in my opinion, your touch there. We can blame our teammate Mark for not having a save, but you put him in a bit of an awkward position, to be honest, and sometimes we have to look at the play 10 seconds before the goal rather than the last person on the goal, if that makes sense. So I think your touch there was a little bit poor, and I think you can agree with that. You put it midfield for them. No point flipping here because we're not trying to get back. We're just getting back too soon. I feel like we don't need to get back so quickly. See, this flip is fine as long as you flip through this pad, but you're flipping out of the way of pads. Look at what you're doing again. It's what we talked about earlier, where we kind of just we have a magnet going towards the big boost pads. We can't just gravitate towards them all the time. And yeah, you're in a good position to go for the ball, but you'd be in the same position with 24 more boost because you would have gone through those two pads rather than trying to go for the mid boost. Good effort on pass your teammate. This is fine. Nice shot from your teammate there. You're quite smooth mechanically. I think if you, like, this is why I think if you stop flipping around so much and focus on pads, you'll be able to use your mechanics like a lot more, and you'll be able to, you feel a lot smoother going around the pitch. You'll put yourself in a lot, way better positions with more boost. Again, jumping up to the ball in a straight line is something you can work on. We jump here, whereas we have more time, and look how we have to correct our car by air rolling, and we just get contact with the ball. We almost go too low. Again, flipping through this. I know it's 0 seconds left. You know, we've lost the game. We're probably on autopilot mode at this point, but let's say there was a minute left. If you flip here as your opponent's about to make a touch, you can't react to their touch. You never want to flip when your opponent's about to make a touch that you should be playing next, if that makes sense. And you should be definitely playing this ball next, so careful on this, because now you can't go up for this in a good position. So, yeah, that's the replay. Obviously, I've talked about a lot of things. I think the main thing I talked about was flipping, boost management, you know, making sure you're playing off the pads more. I think it's definitely important. You seem to gravitate towards the big boosts, so make sure we try and stop doing that. Just really focus on the small pads and boost management, and stop flipping around the pitch so much, because those three things, they're tied together a lot. They'll put you in way better positions with a lot more boost. You'll find yourself feeling way more comfortable around the pitch. You'll find yourself being able to make good plays on the ball a lot more. So yeah. For mechanics, I'd say just there wasn't too much that I noticed, because I think that the only thing I saw was the jumping up to the ball, so make sure we try and align our car perfectly before we jump up for an aerial. Rotations were decent. Team plays, I'm not sure if it was me, but I didn't really see like too much of you on the ball in this game. I feel like maybe I did. No, I don't think I did. I think it's because that you're definitely putting yourself out of position a lot of time with the flipping, and that's sometimes we do that without realizing when we're playing bad. And I feel like I think I remember you saying that you were slumping. You felt like you were slumping in this game. That might have been someone else. I'm pretty sure that was you. And sometimes that happens. We just start flipping and doing the things we wouldn't normally do in that, and we can't really pinpoint why, because we're not looking at, you know, from a, like I am to you, I don't know who you are, so I can see that you're flipping too much. Whereas when we look at a replay ourselves, we can't really notice that. So sometimes when I'm playing bad, it's because I'm flipping too much around the pitch, and that's putting me into awkward positions, so I can't go for the ball. I feel like I'm playing slow, whereas I'm not playing slow and getting beat to the ball because of bad speed or mechanics. It's because I'm just making it awkward for myself. So I feel like that's what you're just doing a little bit too much here. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, then make sure to hit my DMs and make sure to ask me, because I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And also anyone else that's watching this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe on the video and the channel. If this helped you, then make sure to leave a comment in the comments. This channel is one of my favorite things to do. It's really nice seeing that you guys actually learn from it and enjoy it. So any support or feedback is always appreciated. I'll see you all tomorrow for another daily video. Take care, guys.